Hello everyone, Silent here and welcome back to another Bedrock Edition tutorial. Today I'll show you how to build a very simple, cheap and efficient automatic wool farm for your world. This is a fully AFK design, meaning you can do literally whatever you want and this farm will farm away, getting you a ton of wool fully automatically. And this farm is pretty efficient as well. Just using 20 sheep, you'll get about 400 wool per hour, which isn't too bad considering with this design, you can actually put a ton of these things right next to each other and just stack those rates together, which is pretty lovely. So this uses the new Bedrock Edition 1.10 feature where shears can now be used by dispensers to automatically shear sheep. And it's a pretty lovely feature, so hopefully you all get a ton of use out of this little design in your worlds. So this is just one of many different sheep farms that I designed, and this is actually the simplest, the cheapest, and also the most efficient as well, producing the most wool per hour. So how this works is we basically just have about 20 sheep in a little circle in there. They're all standing on top of grass. Every time that they eat a piece of grass, they will regrow their wool, and then we're detecting when that grass either grows or gets eaten, and that will activate all of our dispensers on top in a circle. So once these get activated, they just shear all of your sheep, and then the wool will fall down and get collected by a hopper minecart below and just go into your little storage area. And as you can see, it works pretty well, not too shabby at all. So we have all of this grass around the upper edge and the lower edge as well, including a little bit in the very center of this design to increase the speed at which this center grass regrows. We need this to regrow as fast as possible so that your sheep will eat it faster, regrow more wool, and increase the amount of wool that you get per hour. So yes, it might look kind of ugly, but having all this grass around the edges and the light sources really does help increase our rates. So as you can see, it's a very simple little design, and we should just hop into the tutorial. Before we get started, there's going to be a full materials list for this build down in the description of the video for all of you who are interested, of course. And you're going to need a 5 wide by 6 long area to build this farm, and you'll also need 6 blocks above this little platform right here. So what I did is just put a couple hoppers at the very front right here, and I've also marked out this 3x3 area. This is just going to be going into your output chest that can go into whatever storage system you desire. So the first thing that we're going to do is place a piece of grass in that center area right there. Go down below it and place a lever on the bottom side, flick that lever, and that is going to power our powered rails for our hopper minecart. You can of course use some redstone blocks or whatever you like it to power these, but that is the cheapest way of doing things. So we're now going to go ahead and place some grass back on top of all of these rails right here. And this is actually where all of our sheep will be standing and where they will be getting sheared as well. Go ahead and place a torch right there on that center piece of grass, another grass above it, a piece of glass right there, and then a solid block above that. And you should end up with this weird looking sculpture just like so. Now we're going to stand on this grass and place 8 dispensers facing downwards right here around that center solid block. And these do need to be dispensers, not droppers. And once you have those in place, let's go ahead and wrap around a little bit more grass, just going all the way around these edges. Again, this is going to help all the grass in the center grow faster so that we get more wool out of our farm. So now we're going to go ahead and put in a little bit of a layer of glass just around these edges to prevent any of your sheep from escaping and any shenanigans from happening. It does need to be some sort of block that doesn't kill this grass here. That way, again, all of the stuff in the center grows faster. You also want to go ahead and put down some light sources. I'm just going to use torches on these edges, but you can put light sources pretty much anywhere on this build just to make sure that all has enough light to actually grow. So this is the front side of the build, of course, with your chest. We're going to swing around to the back side now and place in 3 observers detecting these pieces of grass right here. Whenever those get chomped on or when they regrow, they will send out a signal through these observers and send that upward to your shears. So you just want a layer of blocks with redstone dust on top of it, an observer facing downwards towards that redstone dust, block above that observer, and then 4 more pieces of redstone dust just like so, and that will activate all 8 of your dispensers. From here, you want to just go ahead and put as many shears as you like in these dispensers. You need at least 1 in every single one of these. If you want to, you can add some additional storage on top for even more shears if you're getting serious, But honestly, I sheared about a single chest worth of wool, and all of these shears are at about half health or so, so they last a lot longer than you might think. You don't really need to go overboard, but if you do go overboard, it'll save you from having to replace them much sooner. So just fill them all with shears is the basic idea there. Now what we want to do is go down to this lower area and just put in another layer of grass going around the edges. Skip the stuff that would normally go underneath the observers because that'll just die. And all of that again is to help this little bit right here in the center grow faster. You also want to put down a couple of torches again just so that it can all grow and so that nothing hostile spawns. So our farm is nearly done now. What you want to do is go around the back side and just place in your hopper minecart and just put that down and just kind of nudge it. That thing's just going to keep on going back and forth and basically forever. You could hook up some system so that only launches when it gets a pulse from this, but this is so much simpler and way cheaper as well. And now what we need to do is actually get our sheep in here. You might notice there's no real way to do that, but don't worry, it's actually super easy. Just get yourself a sticky piston or otherwise remove one of these droppers. And because this is Bedrock Edition, we can just move that to the side real quick and just dump in a couple of sheep. You can of course just put in 2 sheep and then breed those up, or you can drag in as many sheep as you like using some wheat and a couple of paths. I would suggest putting about 20 sheep in here, and that should be about 20. As you can see, this thing is already activated a couple times. As soon as you put them in there, they'll start eating all that grass and this thing will activate. So now we can go ahead and get rid of that piston as well. And that is your sheep farm completely built up and a fantastic little wool farm. So all these guys can be different colors if you want. You could have 16 different colors of wool inside your sheep farm to get all of the wool from one little farm. Or you could have 16 of these individual little farms, each one with a different color, or you could just farm white and then dye that later. But as you can see, we've already gotten 30 out of this thing. That is pretty quick. So it's a pretty simple little tutorial today, but hopefully you all get a ton of use out of this really basic and honestly pretty awesome little wool farm. These things are super nice, really happy that they're in the game now. If you guys want to see a really overpowered, like supercharged wool factory of doom, then let me know in the comment section down below. I have some interesting ideas and it's going to be a lot bigger, a lot more expensive, but I think it'll probably produce like 100 times more wool. So of course, let me know if you guys want to see that down below. If you guys got any questions, comments, or concerns, then of course let me know in the comment section down below. You guys know I read every single comment on the channel, always trying to help you guys out as best as I possibly can. But if you did enjoy this tutorial, then please do leave a like on the video. Helps out the video and the channel significantly, so thank you very much. And maybe consider subscribing so you don't miss the next tutorial that I upload. But I'll see you all down in the comment section, and in the next one, thank you again for watching. And then there was silence.